The air was heavy with smoke and strange smells. The alien market was full of noise, shouting, laughing, machines, and music that didn't sound human. Lights blinked in every color. Creatures from different worlds walked around, buying and selling. But deep inside the market, in the darkest corner, was a small auction cage. Inside that cage sat a girl. She looked about 15. Her skin was pale, almost glowing. Her hair was white like snow. Her eyes were large and silver, with no emotion. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She just sat quietly with her hands tied in front of her. A chain was around her neck, and her legs were bruised out. No one knew her name. The auctioneer, a tall insect-like alien, hit the metal floor with his stick. "Next item," he shouted. "Bio-organic hybrid, very rare, very cheap." People gathered. Mostly aliens. Some had tentacles, some had fur, some wore long black coats. A few humans were there too, but they stayed quiet. The girl was pulled forward. Her feet dragged on the floor. The crowd looked at her and started whispering. "She's too small. Looks broken. Can she speak?" The auctioneer laughed. "She's silent, yes. But she's not useless. Biochip inside her. Maybe weapon, maybe servant, we don't know." He raised his hands. "Starting price 50 credits. Silence. No one raised a hand. He tried again. 30 credits. Still silence. Someone in the back laughed. "She's junk." The auctioneer was angry now. 10 credits, final price. Take her or we melt her down. A few aliens turned away. No one wanted her. She was too strange. Too quiet. Too ... human ... But then, someone moved. A man in a black hood stepped forward. He was tall, strong. His face was hidden, but his boots were military human soldier boots. He raised one hand. "I'll take her," he said quietly. The crowd looked at him. Some laughed. Some stared. "Name?" asked the auctioneer. "Doesn't matter," the man said. He gave 10 credits, took the girl's chain, and walked away without a word. They left the market and entered a cold alley between buildings. The lights from the auction didn't reach here. It was silent, except for the sound of the girl's weak breathing. The man stopped and knelt down. He gently unlocked the chain from her neck. She didn't react. Her eyes just looked at the ground. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. No answer. He checked the barcode on her wrist. It was strange, old, corrupted. He scanned it with a small device. The screen blinked. Error. File classified. Echo Project Access DNI ED. His eyes narrowed. Echo? He looked at the girl again. "Who are you?" Still she said nothing. He put away the scanner and took out a protein bar. He opened it and gave it to her. She slowly took it and began to eat. Minutes passed. He sat beside her. "You don't belong in a cage." She finally spoke in a low, broken voice. "Why didn't you hurt me?" He looked at her, surprised. "Because not everyone is like them." She looked into his eyes for the first time. There was a small flicker of light inside her confusion, maybe hope. "What's your name?" he asked. She shook her head. "They didn't give me one. Then I'll give you one," he said. He thought for a moment. "How about Nova?" She repeated it slowly. "Nova, yes," he said. "That means new. A new star, a new beginning." Nova looked down at her hands. They were shaking. He stood up and offered his hand. "Let's get out of here." She hesitated, then took it. As they walked away into the shadows, a small red light blinked on the wall nearby. A hidden camera had been recording. Somewhere far away, someone was watching. Someone who knew exactly who the girl was and what she could become, and they were not going to let her go so easily. The room was dark and quiet. Cold metal walls surrounded them. It was a small safe house, hidden deep underground. The man, still silent, still unknown, stood near the door, watching the girl sit in the corner. She was still holding the protein bar he gave her. She hadn't finished it. Her name was Nova now. A name he gave her. Before that, she had nothing, no name, no voice, no freedom. She looked around the room. One broken chair, one dim light, no windows. Just silence. The man placed a small heater near her and dropped a blanket beside her. He didn't speak, didn't ask questions. He just watched. After a long time, Nova looked up. "Why did you take me?" He sat down across from her. "Because you didn't belong in that place." "You don't know me," she whispered. "I don't need to," he said. "I saw enough." She touched her neck where the collar had been. The skin was still red. "Are you a soldier?" she asked. He didn't answer, but his eyes said yes. Later, while Nova slept, the man opened his portable scanner again. Quietly, he scanned the barcode on her wrist. Again, the screen flashed. "Classified. Project Echo access denied level 7 clearance. I read you." He whispered. He searched deeper, breaking through a few firewalls. One image appeared blurry. Damaged. It showed Nova inside a lab, wires in her arms, tubes in her back. Scientists watching her from behind glass. Subject 07E, it read. "Test incomplete. Dangerous. Do not activate." He stared at the screen. "Bioweapon," he said softly. Suddenly, Nova woke up. She was breathing fast. Her eyes were wide. "A nightmare?" he asked gently. She looked at him. "I saw fire and people screaming." He didn't speak. "I think I hurt them," she said, "but I don't remember." He got up and poured her some water. "Drink this." She did. "I need to know," she whispered. "What did they put inside me?" He nodded. "We'll find out. Together." The next day, Nova started asking more questions. "Do you have a name?" she asked him. He was silent for a while. "You can call me Rafe." "Is that your real name?" "No," she smiled a little. "Okay, not real Rafe." He gave a small smile back. As the hours passed, she started to walk around. She looked at the weapons in his bag. She touched the scanner. She even laughed once when Rafe dropped a can of food. But something was still wrong. Every time she saw a screen or wire, her fingers twitched. Like her body remembered things her mind had forgotten. Later, while Rafe was asleep, Nova sat near his scanner. She pressed a few buttons. The screen lit up. Without knowing why, her hands moved fast. She typed commands she didn't remember learning. Scanner showed a locked file. Ecosystem. Brain code active awaiting trigger moment. She stared at it. Her heart raced. She whispered, "What did they turn me into?" The next morning she told Rafe, "There's something inside my head. Something coded. Maybe dangerous." Rafe didn't look surprised. "I thought so. You knew?" "I saw a file," he said. "They called you Project Echo, a living code. Can it hurt people?" He nodded slowly. "If it's triggered." "Yes." Nova looked down. "Then why did you save me?" He stood up. "Because you're still a person. Not just a weapon." She looked into his eyes. "What if I lose control? Then I'll stop you," he said calmly. "How?" "I don't know yet," he replied. "But I will." Outside, above the underground safe house, the sky turned red. An alien drone flew past, scanning buildings. It stopped near a wall where a hidden camera had sent a signal days ago from the auction. Inside the drone, a red light blinked. Target found. Echo subject DTT far away in a large alien warship. A voice echoed, "She is awake." The dream came again. Flames, screams, a white hallway covered in red, a voice calling her name. Nova, but a number. Subject 7, and then silence. Nova woke up with a gasp. Her hands were shaking. Her skin felt cold. Across the room, Rafe stood near the doorway, watching her. He had been awake all night. "Again? You saw it again?" he asked. Nova nodded. "Every night. It's like a memory, but broken." Rafe walked over and sat beside her. He handed her a cup of warm water. She took it, her hands still trembling. "I think they put something in me," she said. "Not just codes. Fear, pain, something that won't let go." "You're not alone now," he said. "We'll figure it out." Nova looked into his eyes. "But why help me? Why risk everything for someone you just met?" Rafe stood up, looked away. "Because once, someone helped me, and I failed them." Outside the safe house, the alien city was waking up. Giant ships flew overhead. Drones scanned every street. Creatures in armor walked in groups, rifles in hand. The planet was not made for humans. It belonged to the enemy now. But deep under the ground, one human and one hybrid girl were planning something big. That night, Rafe opened a dusty box. Inside were old maps, data chips, and a small hologram. It showed a group of soldiers, smiling, humans, his team. "They're gone," he said quietly. "Killed 2 years ago, by the same people who made you." Nova listened silently. There was a lab, hidden in the red zone. "We tried to rescue the test subjects, but it was a trap." He paused, then continued. "We failed. Only I made it out. I thought the project was destroyed ... until I saw you." Nova looked at the map. Her finger touched a symbol near the bottom. "That's it," she said. "That's the place from my dreams." Rafe leaned closer. "You remember it?" "I think I can get us inside." He blinked. "Inside the most secure alien lab on this planet?" Nova nodded slowly. "I know back doors, codes, hidden paths. I think I was built to escape." Rafe smiled for the first time in days. "Then let's build a plan." For the next 3 days, they trained. Nova learned how to move without being seen, how to use tools, how to control her breathing. She wasn't strong, but she was fast, sharp, focused. She also began to unlock strange abilities. When she touched a control panel, doors opened. Lights blinked. Security systems turned off. Rafe watched in silence as she hacked a military lock in seconds. No wires. No devices, just her hands. "You're not a weapon," he said. "You're a key." Nova looked scared. "Then what happens if the door I open leads to something worse?" Rafe placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then we shut it together." On the 4th night, they were ready. Dressed in stolen gear, they moved through the back tunnels under the city. Rafe held a pulse rifle. Nova carried nothing but her mind. Every corner was watched. Every door had a scanner. But Nova's presence confused the systems. Cameras turned the other way. Drones glitched. Machines whispered in code. Echo unit detected, do not block. The lab remembered her. They reached the entrance of the old facility. It looked dead. Broken glass, burned. Walls, silence. But Nova felt something. "It's not dead," she whispered. "It's waiting." They stepped inside. The hallway smelled like chemicals and dust. Rafe held his rifle tight. Nova walked slowly, touching the walls. She began to remember. Here, they injected her. There, she screamed. In that room, a boy tried to run. He never came back. She stopped. Rafe looked at her. "What is it?" She pointed ahead. "Behind that wall is the control room." "How do you know?" "I don't," she said, "but my body does." They reached the wall. It had no door, just metal. Nova placed her hand on it. Suddenly, lights turned red. A loud siren echoed. The wall melted away, revealing a glowing chamber, full of screens, machines, and ... a stasis pod. Inside was a second girl, same pale skin, same silver eyes. Nova froze. "She looks like me." Rafe's voice was cold. "She is like you." Another echo. Suddenly, the lights turned green. A robotic voice spoke. "Welcome back, Subject 7. Shall we continue the experiment?" Nova backed away. Rafe aimed his gun. From the shadows, footsteps echoed. Not machines, soldiers. Nova whispered. They knew we were coming. Asterisk, she had never heard silence scream before, but now inside the dead lab, Nova felt it. The kind of silence that came before something terrible happened. Her heart beat fast, but her face stayed calm. Just like they trained her. Just like they programmed her. Rafe's hand was steady on his rifle, but Nova could see it. His breathing changed. One breath slower, one breath sharper. He was getting ready. They were not alone anymore. The walls of the lab flickered with light. Machines that had been dead for years were waking up only because Nova had touched the door. She didn't understand how. She just knew it was her fault. From the shadows, soft footsteps echoed. Calm, careful, confident. Not a soldier, a hunter. He stepped into the light slowly. Tall, skin like silver stone. Eyes that glowed blue, no armor, no weapons. He didn't need them. Rafe froze. That's not a guard, he whispered. That's a sector-class tracker. Nova had never seen one before, but somehow she knew him. The alien smiled. Hello. Again, Subject 7. Nova's voice was dry. Do I know you? He tilted his head. No, but I know everything about you. I helped design you. Rafe aimed his rifle. Back off. The alien didn't blink. You must be the human who broke her chain. Brave, but foolish. Nova stepped in front of Rafe. I'm not going back, she said. The alien smiled wider. You never left. You think this lab was abandoned? It's been watching you from the moment you were sold. Nova's mind spun. The auction was a test, he replied. To see what you would do, who would find you, who you would trust. Rafe whispered, it was a trap. The alien nodded, and you walked right into it. Double quotes suddenly dash bang. Rafe fired. The bullet hit the alien in the chest and bounced off. No reaction. The hunter moved faster than Nova could see. In one blink, Rafe was on the ground. Gun kicked across the floor. Nova screamed. Her hand reached out, and the lights exploded. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Sirens went off. The lab shook. She didn't mean to do it. She didn't even know how. She did it, but everything reacted to her emotions. Machines bent toward her. Screens cracked. Wires hissed. She was no longer just a girl. She was waking up. Rafe coughed and stood up. His lip was bleeding. Run, he told Nova. But she didn't move. The hunter smiled. Go ahead, little star. Run. I'll always find you. Nova took a deep breath. Maybe, but not today. She closed her eyes and everything around them shut down. The lab went dark. Doors unlocked. Security systems crashed. In that one moment, Nova disconnected the entire building from the alien grid. The hunter's smile vanished. You shouldn't be able to do that, he said. Nova looked at him. Then maybe you don't know everything after all. They escaped through the emergency exit, climbing up a metal shaft toward the cold surface. Alarms echoed below them. The hunter didn't follow. Not yet. He was calculating, waiting, but they both knew he would come. Later that night, Nova and Rafe hid in an old scrapyard outside the city. They didn't speak for a long time. Finally, Rafe broke the silence. You did something back there. Something impossible. Nova nodded slowly. I felt ... connected, like I was the lab. You shut down military systems with your mind. I didn't try, she said. It just ... happened. Rafe stared at the stars. They're going to come harder now, not just trackers, armies. Nova looked down. Then maybe we run. Rafe shook his head. No, we make them run. She turned to him. How? He showed her a chip he pulled from the lab before they escaped. A glowing cube, warm to the touch. What is it? She asked. He answered with a whisper, your blueprint. Far away, back in the broken lab, the hunter stood alone. He touched a screen. Nova's face appeared. So did Rafe's. Echo 7 has awakened, he said into his communicator. The key is unstable," a cold voice replied. "Then neutralize her." The hunter looked at the screen one last time and whispered, "Soon." The cube was glowing. Soft blue light pulsed like a heartbeat. It sat in Rafe's hand, warm and alive as if it knew someone was watching. Nova didn't blink. She couldn't look away. "That thing," she whispered, "is me?" Rafe nodded slowly. "It's your blueprint. Everything they put inside you. Code, memory, purpose." Nova took a step back. "Purpose?" He placed the cube on the ground between them. The soft hum of energy echoed in the cold scrapyard air. "They didn't just build you to spy or fight," Rafe said. "They built you to end a war." Rain began to fall, light and cold. Nova sat down on a broken crate. Her head was spinning. Inside her mind, old memories stirred half-formed images, white rooms, voices speaking in numbers. "I'm not a soldier," she said. "No," Rafe replied. "You're a signal." Nova looked at him. "What does that mean?" He knelt beside the cube. "This thing your brain contains a code. Not a weapon in the normal way. It's a virus. A signal that can shut down alien technology. Entire fleets, armies." Nova's hands began to tremble. "And if it activates, it could bring down their network. Shut off their warships, their satellites, their weapons." She stared at the glowing cube. "How do I turn it on?" Rafe didn't answer right away. His face darkened. "That's the problem," he said. "It only activates through pain." Nova looked away. Of course. Pain, the one thing she knew too well. "So I have to suffer," she said quietly, "for the code to work." "No," Rafe said sharply. "We'll find another way. We're not going to let them use your pain like a switch." She didn't respond. Her fingers touched the cube. It pulsed faster. Later that night, Nova walked alone through the scrapyard. Metal pieces lay everywhere, old engines, broken drones, crashed ships. Ghosts of a war no one won. She stood in front of a shattered mirror from a wrecked escape pod. Her own reflection looked like a stranger. Was she a person? Or just a system waiting to be triggered? Behind her, Rafe spoke. "I know what you're thinking." Nova turned around slowly. "Do you?" He nodded. "You think the only way to stop them is to break yourself open." She stayed silent. "I've seen that look before," he said. "On soldiers who stopped caring if they came home." Nova looked at him. "And did they come home?" "No," he said. "That's why I need you to." He handed her a small screen. "What's this?" "I decrypted part of the cube. There's a memory inside." He pressed play. Nova watched in silence. It was a video her, much younger, sitting in a tank of blue liquid, wires in her head. A voice spoke from the shadows. "She's almost ready," it said. "The code is responding. All we need is a final imprint, a face she'll remember, a protector." Then a hand reached out and touched the glass. Nova's breath caught. It was Rafe. He was younger, in uniform, quiet, watching her. "You were there," she said. "I didn't know who you were back then," he said. "But I knew I couldn't let them finish what they started." Tears filled Nova's eyes. "So I was made to be used, broken, switched on like a machine." "No," Rafe said. "You were made. But now you get to choose." Suddenly, the cube flashed red. A LERT. Proximity BRES. Rafe grabbed his weapon. Nova stood quickly. "Drones. 5 of them. Gliding through the sky like shadows. They found us," Rafe said. Nova looked at the cube. "If I use the code now, you'll burn yourself alive," Rafe said. She looked at him. "I can handle pain." "No," he said. "You don't have to. Not yet." They ran through the scrapyard. Between rusted machines and broken dreams, the drones fired. Nova raised her hand and something exploded in the sky. A pulse of light from her palm hit one drone. It spun out of control and crashed. Rafe fired at another. 3 more surrounded them. Nova closed her eyes. Pain. She called it forward. Every memory, every scream, every chain. Every time someone looked at her and saw nothing, the cube exploded in light, and the drones fell. All of them. Dead silence. Nova collapsed. Rafe caught her. She opened her eyes weakly. I didn't mean to ... It just happened. I know, he said. But now they know too. Far away, in orbit above the planet, a massive ship lit up. A signal blinked. Project Echo. Code activated. Subject 7 is Livia. Voice in the shadows spoke. Send the executor. Asterisk. Trust broke before the shot was fired. Nova felt it before it happened. Not with her ears, not with her eyes, but in her chest. A sudden coldness, like a glass of water knocked over in the dark. Something had spilled inside her. Rafe was still smiling when it happened. They had reached a small outpost, an old human bunker half buried in red sand. No cameras, no patrols. A perfect hiding place. Or so they thought. Inside, a familiar voice greeted them. Still breathing, old man? Said a man in a dusty coat, leaning against the wall with a drink in hand. Didn't think you'd make it off-grid. Rafe smiled. Cale, you're still alive. Cale, Rafe's old squad mate, a pilot. A friend. He looked at Nova. So this is the girl. Nova stayed quiet. Something about Cale felt wrong. His grin was too wide. His voice too smooth. But Rafe trusted him, and that was enough for now. Later, they sat around a small heater, eating dry rations and catching up. Cale told stories about old missions. Rafe laughed, even relaxed for the first time in days. Nova said nothing. She was watching Cale's hands. They were too still for a soldier. Too clean. Where did you say you got this food? She asked quietly. Cale smiled. Traded with smugglers. Why? Nova looked at the wrapper. No dust. No wear. The label was written in alien script. Her stomach dropped. Rafe didn't notice. But Nova did. This bunker wasn't a hiding place. It was a trap. She stood up fast. We need to leave, she said. Rafe looked confused. What's wrong? Cale's smile vanished. Too late, he said. Click. The door slammed shut. The electric locks buzzed. Lights turned red. Rafe reached for his gun, but Cale already had his pointed. Don't move, brother, Cale said. You know how this works. Nova backed up. Her hands started to glow faint blue. Cale pointed at her. Don't try it, little spark. You won't survive what's coming. Rafe stared at him, heartbreaking. You were my brother. Cale shrugged. Still am. That's why I didn't shoot you yet. Nova looked at Rafe. You trusted him. I know, Rafe whispered. I'm sorry. You always were soft, Cale said, walking toward Nova. That's why they sent me instead of you. You hesitated. You cared. He looked at Nova. You're valuable. They'll reward me for bringing you back in one piece. Maybe even let me live after they erase you. Nova didn't move, but inside her the code stirred. Her body was calm, her mind cold, but her heart was burning. Suddenly, Nova raised her hand. A blue pulse shot toward Cale, fast and silent. But he was ready. He dodged and fired. The shot hit Nova's shoulder. She fell back with a cry. Rafe tackled Cale. The gun skidded across the floor. They fought, fists heavy, old soldiers turning into animals. Nova, bleeding, crawled to the door panel. Her fingers shook as she typed a code from memory, something she saw in the lab. Long ago, access denied. She coughed, trying again, access granted. The comfort. Door unlocked. Outside drones. Soldiers. Waiting. They were surrounded. Cale smiled through bloodied teeth. It's over. Nova stood weakly. You think this is the end? Cale laughed. No, but it's your end. He raised his gun. Bang. Rafe fired first. Cale dropped. Dead. But there was no time to grieve. Soldiers stormed the bunker. Rafe tried to pull Nova up, but she shook her head. You have to go." "No," he said. "They want me, not you," she whispered. "If you stay, you die for nothing." He held her hand tight. "I'm not leaving you again." She looked into his eyes. "I'll find you." They kissed once. Then Nova turned and walked into the soldiers with her hands raised, glowing blue. The code inside her was silent again, waiting for the right moment above the planet. The alien warship opened its gates. Nova was coming home, and this time they would see what she had become. Nova didn't dream on the way to the ship. There was no room for dreams in a prison of light. She sat inside a transparent pod, floating inside the warship's core. No walls, no doors, just energy fields holding her in place. Above her, glowing, wires moved like snakes, reading her heartbeat. Below, machines hummed softly, waiting for the order. They weren't afraid of her anymore. They owned her again, or so they thought. Across the galaxy, screens lit up in alien control rooms. Echo. Subject secured. Awaiting activation command. And far beneath those messages, in black letters few could read, warning, code may become self-aware. Proceed with caution. They ignored it, like they always did. In a quiet control room above the chamber, the hunter stood still, hands behind his back, watching Nova through the glass. "She's not resisting," said a technician. The hunter nodded. "She's waiting, for what?" He didn't answer, because he knew, back on the planet, in the ruins of the outpost, Rafe was alive. Barely bleeding, burned, angry. He crawled through sand and fire, dragging himself toward a broken tower. He had only one message to send, and one person to send it to, inside the ship. Nova's eyes opened. Something had changed. The wires above her began to shake. The pod pulsed red. Her code was waking up again. But this time, it wasn't because of pain. It was because of choice. In her mind, two voices echoed. One said, "You were made to destroy. That is your purpose. You have no control." The other said, "You get to choose. You are more than their weapon." Nova took a deep breath. And then, the message arrived. A small light blinked in her pod. Text only. One line, from Rafe. "You are not their weapon. You are our future. Whatever you choose, I believe in you." Nova closed her eyes. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Then she stood up. Inside the energy field. Inside the code. Inside herself. The warship lights turned white. Sirens began to scream. Warning. Subject Echo has overridden control. Technicians panicked. The hunter stayed calm. He pressed a button. Activate full suppression. Electric beams struck Nova's pod. But nothing happened. The lights around her shattered. She raised one hand, and the entire ship froze. Engines died. Doors locked. Weapons powered down. One by one, systems failed. And in the heart of the ship, Nova floated upward, no longer held, no longer weak. She was light now. Pure, brilliant, burning light. The hunter watched her rise. "She's activating it," someone said. He shook his head. "No, she's choosing it." Nova stood inside the command core. The ship begged her to stop. If she released the code now, it would spread across every alien system in the galaxy, shut down everything. But it would also burn her brain. Her body wouldn't survive it. She had seconds to decide, and she heard Rafe's voice in her mind again. Not a command, not an order, a truth. "Whatever you choose, I believe in you." She whispered softly to herself, "I am not a weapon." Then louder, "I'm the end of you." Her body glowed. Her heart burst with light. The code exploded from her. It raced through wires, satellites, ships, soldiers, across cities, across stars. And then silence. No engines. No war. Just peace. Rafe looked up from the desert floor. The sky, once filled with enemy ships, was now clear. They were gone. Not destroyed, disarmed. The war was over. But Nova was gone. Or so he thought. until the light returned. Soft, gentle, and a voice behind him said, "Hey, soldier." He turned. Nova stood there. Alive, not glowing, not broken, human. "How?" he asked, choking on his own breath. She smiled weakly. "I shut them down, but I didn't burn out." He held her close. "I thought I lost you. I thought I'd lose myself," she said. "But your message brought me back." They stood under a quiet sky. No warships, no alarms, no more chains. Nova looked up. She wasn't built to survive, but she had. She wasn't born to choose, but she did. She wasn't meant to be free, but she was. Sometimes the galaxy doesn't need another weapon. Sometimes it just needs someone brave enough to choose peace.